Even if you've never seen Gotham the TV series, you're probably at least a little bit familiar with the premise if you have any interest in superhero media whatsoever. It takes place in the Batman universe, but takes us back to the point where Bruce Wayne's parents were killed and goes from there. We get to see all the main villains becoming the versions of themselves that they are in the comics, along with the aftermath of the Wayne murder in regards to Bruce himself. I started watching the show just to have on in the background while doing other mindless things because I have nothing better to do. I just saw that Gotham Season 1 was on Netflix and I'd heard people talk about it before. I had a vague interest in the Batman universe, so I decided to give it a go. The initial plan was to watch it on the side while doing other things, and that's essentially what I did throughout all of Season 1, mindlessly going through all the episodes thinking, yeah, this guy's obviously going to end up as this character, and this girl is this character that we know from the comics. After finishing Season 1, I remember thinking that if I were to give it a rating out of 10, I would give it a 5. In terms of story, half of it I already knew because it's Batman, and the other half that I didn't, I found not to be very engaging. Not only that, but most of the sets were just painfully, blatantly, obviously sets. The special effects were like something out of a zero-budget fan film. It was just generally pretty poor. And yet, I kept watching, and I found myself excited for Season 2, because Gotham does have a strength, and it's a pretty substantial one at that. That strength is the mixture of dramatic irony and the mystery as to how the show is going to progress into what the audience already knows. We know how most of these characters are going to end up at some point, but because in their origins, they are in states of life that are so far gone from what we, the audience, are familiar with them being in, it's tough to fathom just how they get from where they are in the show to where we know them to be. However, this is of course an aspect of any prequel that you have to be careful with. If the Star Wars prequels have taught us anything, it's that creating a version of a well-known character that is nothing like how everybody knows them to be can actually be a serious hindrance on the character and the story they're in, and not a strength at all. Gotham walks this fine line between slipping into that Phantom Menace-esque absurdity and maintaining the beautiful aforementioned balance of dramatic irony and mystery. And when I finished Season 1 of the show, I craved to see just where they went with it. So, how does Season 2 stack up to the first? I think it's better. First of all, let's talk about theming. One thing I really didn't like about Season 1 was it didn't seem to know how seriously it wanted to take itself. It sort of just drifted between being the Dark Knight and being the 60s Batman show, and it was endlessly frustrating for me. Season 2, I think, has found a comfortable area, and that area is pure cheese. If you thought Season 1 was too cheesy, then you should probably just skip Season 2 altogether, because they take that cheese factor and they just roll with it, and I love it. It's difficult to really say more about that without going into spoiler territory, but you watch the series and you'll know what I mean. But obviously the cheese factor isn't the only appeal. Throughout the second season, the characters continue to develop gradually into their iconic forms, and it's just as, if not more entertaining and interesting as it was in the first season. With so many characters being in the Batman universe, it seems like it'd be pretty tough to know which characters need fleshing out at what points, but this is something Gotham does really well too. Every time you're just starting to think, oh, we haven't seen this character in a while, I wonder what they're up to, boom, that character gets a scene. Something else I noticed while watching Season 2 is that fan film-ish quality that I said brought the first season down a little bit. I'm actually starting to really enjoy it. Because, hey, I like a good fan film, and if you allow yourself to enter the same mindset while watching Gotham as you would while watching a fan creation, suddenly it becomes a lot more enjoyable. It's important to remember that Gotham isn't canon. It's not even trying to be. It aligns itself with the basic Batman storyline just enough to where it can use what everybody already knows about these characters to its advantage, but not so much that it completely falls apart when it decides to go in its own direction. In conclusion, if you're at all interested in the non-Batman side of the Batman universe and you can find the charm in a cheesy, low-budget, fan-made passion project, I'd say give this one a shot. It might just end up being your new guilty pleasure. I'm feeling a strong 7 out of 10. But as always, guys, my name is Lawlor. If you like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you in the next video, whenever the hell that is. I don't know. I'm the most unreliable uploader on the bloody internet. Every time you're just starting to think, oh, we haven't seen this character in a while, I wonder what they're up to. Boom! There's a character, there's a...